Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a Rumour Has It video where we're talking about players linked to the football club that come in transfer window. And we're talking about a defender in this episode. Now, financial fair play is certainly making it difficult for Newcastle to get recruits. But apparently we are interested in this player, if not this window, then again in the summer. And I think he's quite a good player, actually. So we're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Look at his stats, see how he measures up and see how he would fit into the Newcastle United squad. Just before we do, a little reminder, as we always say, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. We're over 6,200 subs. So loads of room for you on the Evermore YouTube community. It's all free content. We do transfers, match previews, post-match analysis, the odd rant and thought of the day here and there. It's all free, but if you want to give a look back at the channel, there is an option down there as well. Just click whichever one suits you best. So who am I talking about? I'm talking about a former Premier League player, and people from Chelsea will recognise who I'm talking about right now. And it's this lad here. It's Andreas Christensen. No, not the one who tells stories. That's Hans Christian Andersen. But he is Danish, and he's a centre-half, and a decent centre-half as well. He plays for Barcelona, and he's currently struggling for game time under the great Xavi, who's a manager of Barcelona right now. He seems to favour three centre-backs, and it's not really placed for Christensen. But when he has played, he's done a good job in terms of his ability as a centre-half. We'll look at the kind of tail of the stats there and his key attributes as well. But his main attributes really, brilliant positional sense as a centre-half, really good in the air. He's a threat at set pieces at either end of the pitch in terms of, he's great at getting on the end of things and making things happen in terms of goals, etc., or making a nuisance of himself in the box. But he's got a great way of reading the play, a great tackler, times his tackles really, really well, got some pace as well. And at 27 years old, he's at the peak of his powers, really. And I think he could be a really good long-term replacement potentially for Fabian Schär. And he could offer you great support for Schär or Botman, depending on who gets injured first. 68 caps for Denmark, so he's well experienced. He fits that mould of a player that we really need, I think, to play those kind of games, that next level of footballer. It's great having young players coming through, but sometimes you need a bit of experience and a little bit of big game gumption just to get you over the line. And I do think Christensen could be that player. His transfer value is 34 million quid, which isn't too bad. Weekly wages of 150 grand. I'm sure we can negotiate that down to our kind of cap and appearances and everything else as well. His contract expires in June 2026. He wants to stay at Barcelona by all accounts, and you can't blame him. Barcelona's a huge club. It's one of them clubs, if you have that in your CV, you're talking about it forevermore, aren't you? Because it's a brilliant football club, regardless of where it is kind of financially right now. Playing at the Nou Camp is incredible. Not nearly as good as playing at St James's Park. But I don't think Xavi's keen on him. And Barcelona will always rebuild every summer as they do. So Christensen could very well be on the way out. And Eddie Howe apparently is a huge admirer of the lad. If you remember, he played 159 times for Chelsea from 2014 to 2022. He was a young man when he was there. He's only 27 now. So he was a real young man when he was there. He was kind of learning his game. But you could see elements of his game there, that he was very good on the ball. Positionally, he was decent. He had that bit of speed as well about him. But, he was a young player in a really difficult league. But he's really grown, I think, as a player since he's gone to Barcelona. And he just has that kind of leadership capabilities on him there as well, which is good. He's obviously played for Mönchengladbach before that as well. 80 appearances, 7 goals as a defender. So, like I say, he can find the back of the net and score from set pieces and be a threat, which we don't really have a lot of, unfortunately, in this current squad. Yes, Schär can score a snort of 35 yards, and Botman's popped up with the odd couple of goals, but it's generally not something that we have unless it's Jamal Lascelles, who maybe has only got another year or two left in him if he's lucky. We've seen Fabian Schär's contract being extended. But that doesn't necessarily mean we won't sign any more centre-backs. It just means Fabi's got one more year in the beautiful city of Newcastle, playing for Newcastle United. So in terms of appearances this season, you can see all in all, Christensen's had 15 in the league, 1 in the cup, 4 in the Champions League. He's got an assist as well for a centre-half. Fair play to him. He's been fit. He's played in most of those games. In terms of his appearances and his stats and everything else, tackling, you can see there in terms of centre-backs in his position across Europe, might be a bit worried there. Looks a bit low in the 19th percentile. Tackles 1, 37 percentile, interceptions at 40, blocks quite low, clearances quite low. But look at what he's like on the ball. Passing and pass completion is massively high. He's up in the 90s. Progressive passes as well, he's up in the 90s. I saw him, some of the footage of him clipping some beautiful passes over the top to midfield runners, which is it's brilliant to see as a centre half. Passes in the final third, you can see there 93 percentile. I mean, technically, you could even shove him up at a number 6. I don't know whether he can play there, whether he's played there in his career, maybe, who knows. But, you may be able to do that with him as well. Aerials one is quite strong. Touches is good. Errors, he doesn't make a lot of errors, doesn't get dispossessed a lot, doesn't give away a lot of fouls, and recoveries are half decent as well. So this is a very interesting one to be linked to. I think the issue that we're going to have really with this player, in my opinion, is the FFP restraint. You can see how it compares next to Fabian Schär there in the corner. I mean, Schär's blocks, tackles, interceptions are phenomenal. And Schär's very, very good on the ball, but obviously Christensen's got a great range of passing there that just eclipses Fabian Schär. But in terms of getting a deal for someone like Christensen, this window I think is going to be really difficult. Experience is needed. If you were going to finish this window with Calvin Phillips as a number 6 and Christensen as a centre back cover, you'd take that all day. They're both experienced players, play at the highest level, and I think they would add something to this squad. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get these two in like that. I don't think Christensen would come on loan unless Barcelona want him off the books. I know they're struggling financially as well. Maybe Christensen might fancy the move as well. But the word is that if we don't get a deal done this January, we will return for the player in the summer, and it could be part of our summer recruitment plans. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below about Christensen. Would you take him in black and white shirt? I certainly would. I think he's a really good player. And I think, for that kind of figure as well, I think it's a kind of player you can get good experience on, Premier League experience too, international, played Champions League, played, in huge, big, Classicos and things like that. I think, again, a player like that for 34, 35 million quid in this current market is really, really good. I'm not sure we could get much better without breaking 50, 60 million quid's worth of investment, which we've already seen tips you over the scales on financial fair play. But we always like to hear from you. Smash a comment, guys. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. I'd love you to come and join us. Over 6,200 subs, all free content for you, never more. But if you want to give a little bit back, there is an option there. Smash whichever button suits you best. We'll be back with another rumour has it soon, I'm sure, because there's loads of names being thrown out there. Not a lot of activity yet, but it's early days, and hopefully Newcastle can get the business done they need to and strengthen this squad this January transfer window. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you later. Cheers.